What up guys, how are you guys doing? I'm Thales and we're back with another how to slice. In today's how to slice video, we're gonna be checking out a awesome magic trick. So let's go to the video. So this is the knife through the arm magic trick. This is a really nice model right here. As you can see, we got the handle, the blade. The blade retracts so you can get a really nice effect. And let's take a look at the best print settings to print this model. First off, make sure you take a look at the PDF where there is all of these settings on how to print. I'm going to be showing you right now, but the most important is how to assemble your knife. So right here we got the spring, this is the part itself. So this is the blade, the small blade that's going to go inside the big blade. So please take a look in how to assemble so you can have your finished end model really nicely. So let's go to the print settings. Right here in print settings, we're going to be printing this model at the standard 0.2 millimeter layer height. This way, we're going to have a good balance between time of print and quality. As for vertical shelves, we're going to be leaving at 3. This way, we're going to get a really rigid model, so it's not going to break. This model needs a little bit of rigidity because it cannot break. So you're going to be utilizing as a knife. Then once you show the effect, it cannot break. So this way we're going to get a really resistant model. Right here on fill density, we're going to be increasing to 10% and printing with a gyroid fill pattern. Gyroid's a really nice fill pattern because it's printing waves, so your printer never goes on a straight line. This reduces the chance of your print failing while printing the infill. As for skirt and brim, let's analyze if this model really needs brim. So brim is a really nice feature to increase the surface of contact to the build plate. And as you can see, we got this blade is quite tall and it doesn't have the best surface of contact to the build plate. So brim increases this area of contact. Brim is really recommended for this model. Not only recommended, but I assure you, you need brim to print this model so it does not fail, especially on these small blades right here and this big blade. We're going to be adding brim, but there are other tips to help increase the bed adhesion. First off is to always clean your build plate really well to get a really clean surface to print on. Something else you can do is guarantee that your printer is really well leveled. This way, you're going to get a good first layer, a good even first layer. And by having a good first layer, the first layer is the most important layer because it's going to hold the model down to the build plate. And last, feel free to add some glue stick or external adhesion to this model. This way, you're going to get a really good print, a good first layer, a good bed adhesion, so your model does not tip or unstick from the build plate, which usually does when you're not careful with everything I said before. So this is quite nice. We're going to be adding some brim. This models right here doesn't need any brim, but feel free to add some brim, especially because they have a decent surface of contact to the build plate, but they're quite tall so they can unstick from the build plate. Feel free to add some brim to the whole project, so to all models right here. If you want, you can just select a 5 millimeter brim width right here or 6. It's going to depend on how stable your print is and the speed you're going to print. So in brim width, feel free to add a 6 millimeter brim width, but I'm going to be showing you a really nice way to add brim just to the blades. So let's do that right now. So to do that, we're just gonna select right here. Let's select the big blade and we're gonna right click, as you can see, add settings, skirt and brim, brim type, brim width. This way we're gonna be adding brim just to this model, a 5 millimeter brim width. We're gonna be taking a look. We have to be really careful because if the brim is too big, it's gonna go out of the build plate. So we're going to be selecting a 5 millimeter brim. Then afterwards, we're going to take a look if it goes off. So now, as you can see, this big blade, it's got some skirt and brim. Let's add the same skirt and brim to these two models. What you can do is select the skirt and brim right here, Ctrl C or Command C, select the other model, Ctrl V. And as you can see, select Ctrl V. This way it added some skirt and brim to these 3 models right here. And the other models, I did not add any brim. This model doesn't have the best surface of contact to the build plate, but it is quite small, not that tall. It's quite small. And if you add some brim, sometimes it's quite hard to remove the brim that's around right here. So I have added brim just to these 3 models. Feel free to add to all of them. So now let's go back to the print settings. So we did not add brim to the whole project. Feel free to do so. Right here on support material, we're going to be adding some support material to the handles right here because they need support. We're going to be selecting a paint on support. So this way we can take a look. As you can see, this angle is not that steep, so we can be printing, but this angle right here, it needs some support. So we're going to be adding some support to this part right here. If you take a look, if we increase to around 30%, it shows as a critical area that needs some support. All of the other parts are optimized for printing. Feel free to add a little bit right here. It doesn't need, this is optional, but as you can see, this is going to help a lot. This is where it's going to attach the blade. Let's go and do the other one. Then we're going to be changing the configurations for our support. We're going to be selecting a tree support because as this is quite flat, it could be a grid, but as it's going to start right here, the branch is going to go nicely with this model. So let's go back to the print settings. We're going to be generating support material, not auto-generated because we have painted. Right here on grid, we're going to be selecting organic. Right here on top interference layers, we can be reducing to 2. So this is quite nice. Feel free to utilize a settings that you feel comfortable with for your support material. As for speed, feel free to change this value as you may like. It's going to vary between printers. But if you're going to change any of these values, always to lower values, never faster. It's better to print slow one time than trying to print really fast and it failing multiple times. So you can be printing with your standard print speed for your printer. Printer is going to vary, so the speed is going to vary too. This is going to be different for an Ender TV3 SE and compared to a Bamboo Lab printer. Right here, what I have done is reduce from 30mm to 20mm on the first layer speed. This way it's going to print really slowly. And as I've said before, it's the most important layer on our print because all of the other layers are going to go on top of this one. So guarantee a really good first layer. Right here on perimeters, feel free to change anything like on the speed. On small perimeters, I would recommend if you want, you can be reducing to 50mm, let's say. So this way on small perimeters, it's gonna reduce the speed. So this is quite nice. Feel free to do the changes you may like. And now we are ready to slice. Let's see if the brim is not gonna be going off right here on our edges. So as you can see, we have sliced and there is some conflicting paths G-code. As you can see, the brim is inside, but the skirt is not. So I'm just gonna be deselecting the skirt. So this way we're going to get the brim correctly inside. So we can just go back, print settings right here, skirt and brim. The brim loops, I'm gonna be reducing to 0. So now we are ready to slice again. So as you can see, we have sliced and it looks quite nice. The brim fit right here really nicely on our printer. This looks fantastic. It added some custom brim to the blades that we selected. This way they're not gonna fall or unstick from the build plate. Right here, we have added some custom on support. So this looks fantastic on support really well. Nothing, no blue signs of overhangs. This is fantastic. It's gonna turn really nicely after we print. We can just assemble. As this is a multi-part, feel free to print the handle in a different color than the blades so you can get a really nice end result. If we go over to speed, you'll see that it reduces a little bit of the speed on small parameters, but it did not change too much on the blade. Feel free to mess around with the speed to print slower all of these parts. So this is quite nice. We are ready to print. Grab a really nice filament that you have laying around and print this model right now. So the model is ready to print. Make sure to check out stlflix.com for more models like this one, and I'll see you in another one.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STL Flix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.